Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I really didn't want to talk about the Trump trial again this morning, but I have to say this. I have to make a few points. The links to what I'm going to talk about are right down below because I've been looking up a few things that I thought was the truth, the facts. So I wanted to make sure before I came on here and did this video. I want to talk about what Trump has said since the trial and about the jurors and how this confirms my anxiety with the coming election. All right, let me start here with the very beginning, with Trump saying that this is rigged, that this trial was rigged. All right, the first thing I thought of when I heard him say that is there was 12 jurors, right? And if you look down below, I had to read. I thought I had a pretty good idea of how these 12 jurors were picked. They grab an anonymous group of people. They bring them in. They ask them questions. Both sides, the lawyers have an opportunity. They have a limited amount of strikes where they can eliminate people they don't like. They're looking for people that can put aside their political differences. They ask them a series of questions. And they're not looking for somebody that's on one side or the other side or doesn't have any opinions. They're looking for somebody that could put aside their biases to render a fair judgment. And Trump's lawyers agreed to these 12 jurors. Okay? Now that's 12. Trump's lawyers agreed, picked these 12 jurors that found him guilty. How can that be rigged? How can that be rigged? 12 jurors of his peers were selected with using his own people, Trump's own lawyers, and he was found guilty. Here's another thing that came up that I just discovered this morning on far-right websites. Now they're, because of what I just said, you know, the obvious that, you know, how could this be rigged because of the 12 jurors? There's far-right websites now that are claiming that that the judge, they found a way around this to claim, you know, that it's still rigged. That they're claiming falsely that the judge instructed the jurors that they don't have to be unanimous, which is a complete lie. And you know what? Even I know that. Any of these half-intelligent jurors will know that how a trial works, and they'll know, you know, you don't need the judge to tell you that it's got to be unanimous. You know, people, if you know anything about America or the court system, you know there's 12 jurors and you got to be unanimous. In this kind of case, if it was a murder case, there's a preponderance of the evidence, or you know, more than likely guilty. But in this case, they have to be unanimous. And so on these far right websites, they're claiming, you know, they were falsely. I'll have the links right down below. That just happened this morning. Another thing that I found is his lawyers tried to throw out these jurors after the verdict. They tried to throw out this verdict. This was America democracy, America justice in action. 12 jurors of his peers, picked by both sides fairly by Trump's own lawyers, picked and agreed upon to judge him. They judged him unanimously and found him guilty on every freaking count. A group of his peers. How is that rigged? That is not rigged. That is our system in action. Okay, the thing that scares me, like I said, I made yesterday's video talking about it. It freaks me out. You know, it takes a lot for a Trump supporter to surprise me, to shock me. And when I saw that guy in yesterday's video yelling about kids, your kids are, I was like, I couldn't, you know, are you freaking kidding me? That is the worst possible thing you could, and he wasn't even saying one person. He's just saying like everybody, Democrats, anybody against Trump, me, you know, the judge, you know, throwing out this hideous threat about people's offspring. And it got worse yesterday on some of these far-right Trump websites. They started doxing, trying to dox the jurors or put out their information out there. And then it got really ugly where they're threatening, I can't even say it, the gallows for the jurors. This is how they're reacting to this justice, to our justice. How is this rigged? 12 of his peers, selected and agreed upon by Trump's own lawyers, found him guilty on all counts unanimously. How is that rigged? How could that possibly be rigged? Was the deep state involved in selecting a, it doesn't make no sense, man. So there's all these threats. Elon Musk loses his mind. Donald Trump Jr. And this just confirms what imagine this. What's going to happen? I really think he lost some supporters yesterday. And then he goes to Trump Towers yesterday after this and just rambles incoherently. I'll have the links for that down below, where he's just talking about the judge looks like an angel, but he's a devil, and it's a sunny, nice, cloudy day. And Trump just rambles. You just look at the links down below. He just rambles incoherently about Joe Biden wants to take away your cars, but China wants to, but he wants China to sell us the cars, which makes no sense. So Joe Biden wants to take away all of our cars, but he wants China to sell us all of our cars, all of their cars. It was freaking nonsense. He went to Trump Towers, back to the escalators where this all began, and just rambled incoherently about just streams of nonsense about this trial. I really think he might have lost some supporters. So coming November 5th, tell me, what is going to happen if Joe Biden wins fairly? What's going to happen? I've told you I've had growing anxiety because, there's no way. This is what he's done to him. Look at what he has done to this country with these baseless, show me the evidence, show me any evidence that the election was stolen, that this court was rigged. Because there is none. There isn't. And every time he says this to protect his own ego, it chips away at our country. He is killing our country, our justice system now, and our democracy. He's got half the country losing trust in our entire system. How was this rigged? 12 jurors selected by his lawyers. How could that be rigged, man? And it was unanimous on all counts. What's going to happen on November 5th? I'll be back later. This was just a preliminary video. I want to talk about something interesting. Ice-T was very upset and saying that it's BS, that Lenny Kravitz has been celibate for the last 9 years. I got something to talk about this because I was celibate for 7 years. And Ice-T thinks it's BS. And I think Ice-T is an ass. I'm going to talk about that in a video coming up. I'll be back in a little while with another video. You guys have a good Saturday.